Kia ora, beautiful humans. Hello to welcome to another live. Today, I want to talk to you about something I think that's really important that a lot of us actually don't do, and that is to really acknowledge when life feels sour, when life feels shit. So, here I want to start off with a question. You know, the last time you had a shitty day and somebody asked you how you are, what was your answer? What was your response to that? Let me guess, it was something like, I'm good. Oh, yeah, I'm okay. And that is the case for so many of us. We have a shitty day, but so many of us don't actually really acknowledge it. We don't acknowledge when we're feeling stressed at work, when there was a lot of work that we needed to do that we didn't get done, when our personal life seems like a chaos and it's going into our professional life, when our professional life is influencing our personal life. There's so many reasons as to why we might be having a bad day or why we might be having a bad week, right? But it's so important for us to acknowledge when that is the case. Because, see, here's the thing. If you never really acknowledge how you actually feel, how can you actually create change in your life? See, most of us want to live a happy life. Most of us want to feel joy and happiness every single day. Yet, what we are doing is that we're not actually allowing any of that to come into our life because we're not acknowledging when life feels shit. So I know this feels like an oxymoron, feels a bit like a contrast. And I'm going to explain to you why it's so important to acknowledge when life feels a little bit sour. See, the first step to change is always awareness and acknowledgement of what the current situation is. In my Thrive program, we actually spend the first coaching session and the very first module just deep diving into what life is currently like. And it is really, really important because only when we become aware of what is going on, only when we can acknowledge of how we are actually feeling, only then change can start to take place, right? Because if we never really acknowledge what is actually going on, we can't actually make changes. And here's why. It's kind of like, imagine you want to have this beautiful showroom house. You want to have a house, that house of your dreams with a big kitchen and the beautiful view out onto the ocean, right at the beach, or whatever that may look like. Imagine this is what you're wanting, right? That is what brings you joy and happiness, and that is what you're gearing for. But what you are doing, instead of creating this beautiful house, you're actually taking a whole lot of rubbish, old furniture, clutter, things you don't actually want, and you keep stuffing it into every room of this house. So how do you expect to have a beautiful, joyful house that brings you happiness, or that brings you a space that has potential for happiness, when you are not actually creating or decluttering the space on the inside? So I'm going to say this again. It's really, really important. If we want to create a life full of joy, with more joy, less stress, and an overall greater sense of happiness, we have to acknowledge when life gives us lemons, when life just feels a little bit sour. So the next time somebody asks you how you're feeling and you had a shitty day, let them know. Just tell them. Say, actually, I had a pretty shitty day, and this is the reason why. And then just notice how you feel. Because see, when we really acknowledge that and when we speak it out loud, it's like that saying, when the weight is lifted off your shoulder. And that is what will occur, is that you've shared this, you've acknowledged, yeah, okay, cool, this has been shitty. And because you've been able to acknowledge that, you have now taken away all the resistance to what is happening. And when we take resistance away from what is happening, energy starts to flow, things start to flow, because then we can start to shift and go, okay, cool, what is it actually that I do want? How do I actually want to feel? What is it actually that I want to create? So the next time you have a shitty day, just share it with people. Be open and honest about when life feels sour, because you know what? It's okay. All of us have shitty days. And living a joyful life is not about never having shitty days. It's not about never having breakdowns. It's not about never having challenges and never having problems. It's about embracing them just as much as we embrace the joy. I would love for you to leave a comment below. Let me know if some of this resonated with you and if you have any questions. I'm wishing you an amazing rest of the week. Lots of love. Bye.